Welcome to Season 8, Episode 34 of Often Imitated, Never Duplicated, the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, October 1st, 2019. This is franchise episode number 219 all time. Your hosts tonight are yours truly, Curt Price, Bill Day, and Jeff Ponder. And for your listening pleasure, we'll be with you for the next little while talking St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup champion hockey. That I kind of got that backwards, didn't I? Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues hockey.
It all works.
It's the same thing. To interact with us on social media, follow the show on Twitter at LGB Radio is the show's account. Mine is at Curt Price. Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at jponder94. Also follow us on Instagram, like us on the Facebook, and the website is letsgoblues.com, where you can listen to past episodes, browse the discussion forum, as well as get some cool t-shirts, mugs, and stickers that helps support the show, so we appreciate that. Bill and Jeff, how are you gentlemen tonight? Can you believe the season starts tomorrow already?
In light of the 95, 98 degree temperature that we had here today, no. I mean, it feels more like a playoff, like the end of the playoffs weather. But yeah, what a short off season. Winning the cup really makes it go by quick. I could get used to that.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. When the team's out in late April, by this time we're sitting here starving for hockey. And here we are still sitting watching the playoffs from just a couple months ago. I mean, Fox Sports Midwest has been broadcasting it. I know you guys are like me, and we're probably just sitting there. Yeah, let's rewatch that. Why not? I'll get rewatch that another 100 times before tomorrow night.
You have to watch it.
Yeah,
at least some of it.
I sat down last night after our volleyball game to watch the end of Game 7, just so I could cry one last time before the season started.
Tying tears of joy before the season, where you may be crying tears of sadness. Is that depressing?
That's
very
depressing.
I just
that's not why I did it.
I was going for a contrast thing there. I wasn't. Yeah. I don't believe that. It was just to be stupid. Some announcements.
I am the thing that's really kind of making me wonder about this season is, for so long it was so easy, and especially when you look back at like the beginning of last season or the end of the season before, and how it was so easy to just, they're terrible, let's blow it up. I mean, how are we going to react now? The Blues go on a 5-game losing skid. Is it going to be like, okay, let's start making some changes, or are we just going to be like, shit happens, they won a cup? It's going to be interesting to see how we react now after seeing this team finally go all the way.
There are going to be some people that are going to, and it's going to, I'm telling you what, it's going to be a shitstorm of screw yous and FUs on social media if things aren't going well for a while. And you have some people complaining or being critical of the team, and you're going to have that faction, and the other faction saying, "Hey, man, take it easy. We're defending Stanley Cup champions." It's going to be that, and you're going to. It's like, yeah, that was last season. I want to win it again, so shut the fuck up, right? I mean,
leave Jake Allen alone. Oh man, and I want to say though, thank you to everybody who is tuned in now to We Went Blues. I mean, Blues Hockey Podcast. I mean, Blues NHL Podcast. I mean, the Blue Line Podcast. I mean, Two Guys One Cup. What show are we again? There's too many of us.
Well, we were the first one.
I think you have 46 more to go before you get to us.
I was going to say, one of the things I was going to say before we started the show was, it seems like, and because there was another podcast announced today, and there's probably 2 or 3 more announced that I didn't see. Yeah. But it seems like everybody and their uncle are creating blues podcasts nowadays, which on one hand, oh, great, but tons of blues content. On the other hand, it's like, God, Lord, how many are there? Like 15 now, 12? That's a lot. And people have options nowadays, which is fine. But I wanted to thank, like Jeff said, thank the listeners for tuning in every week. We appreciate it. And I'll try to say this without sounding too cocky. I take great pride in, and I know that Jeff does and Bill does, and Bill came on board a little after we started, but we are the original blues hockey podcast, and I take pride in that. So it's 8 years ago when we started this thing, there wasn't a single blues hockey podcast out there, not one. And I'm not just talking about fan podcasts. I'm talking about all podcasts. No radio blues podcast. No TV stations had one. No sports writers had one. No former players. Nobody. And on top of that, who else does a live show? No one does a live show.
You do sound
Right.
cocky.
I mean, just I'm,
But but
it's not.
you know what,
I'm not. I'm trying not to sound cocky. I'm proud of the. I'm
No, you're
proud of
right.
it.
It's okay
It's-
to sound cocky, man.
it's-
When we came together to do this, it was there's no blues content out there. Let's get some more out there.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, I know that everyone that listens to this show and everyone that has started a podcast since, including former players, they call us the pioneers. Okay, that's not true. But I mean it's kind of true, and it's a cool feeling, and it's something I take pride in. I've talked over the summer series about how a little bit of my media days and mentioned some of that stuff, and there's a lot to be proud of there for me. But to be honest, and as dumb as this probably sounds, I'm most proud of this podcast. I think we have done such a good job being able to keep this show together. Honestly, since Bill came on, it's gotten only better because Bill is just that great, and it's just been so awesome. And the fact that our numbers keep growing, we keep seeing downloads every single week. You and I and Bill all talked about the numbers of our downloaded shows during the Stanley Cup Final. It was ridiculous. I mean, it's cool to see, and it's something we should be proud of. So. Yeah, Curt, that's okay. Let's sound cocky because we deserve it.
I mean, if you after the research I've done to figure out where we stand for the amount of numbers we're getting for views and listens and downloads, top 35 to 40% of podcasts worldwide, which is really good considering that our target market is blues hockey fans. That's our target market. Jeff does the summer series, the Behind Enemy Lines, where he draws in some fans from other teams too. But generally speaking, this is a blues podcast, so our podcast is focused primarily towards blues fans. So that's a pretty narrow market, and for us to be in the top 40% of podcasts worldwide is pretty. That's great. I love it, and thanks to people who listen, it's fantastic. And it's not a knock on other shows out there right now by any means. Some of them do a fine job.
There's some great blues podcasts besides us.
But it's not. I mean, I'm not talking about them or trying to knock them. It's just I'm just wanting to say that I'm proud of the show, and you guys do a great job, and it's I've enjoyed doing it.
Plus, we're so easy to look at.
That's true.
Well, ponderous.
That's true. That's true. Ponderous.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's all in the
ponderous is easy to
hair.
look at, but
It's all in the hair. Hey, Bill, the eyes, they're down here. Okay.
wait, what?
Eyes.
Where are your
Up
eyes?
here. Up here.
Eyes
Where-
down here.
Okay. Enough of the slobbering.
Yeah.
We're
That's later, too.
Yeah. Announcement number 2.
Sorry.
We're giving away T-shirts and an arena seat back. The contest is winding down. It'll go on. It's going on right now. The deadline is to enter the contest is opening night puck drop, which is tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. ish, probably after, with the pregame ceremonies and whatnot. So whenever that puck drops, the contest is over. So if the more followers we get on our Twitter account, the more prizes we give away. So. Right now we're giving away a T-shirt, and we're coming up on T-shirt number 2. If we can get to 3,000 followers, we're going to give away 3 T-shirts plus an arena seat back, an old arena seat back. So that's pretty cool. So if you haven't followed the show on Twitter, do so and spread the word, like and retweet. We got the tweet pinned on our account with information on how exactly to register for the account for the show contest.
How many followers are we at right now?
It's around 2,100, something like that.
So if we get 900 followers, you will within what 22 hours ish.
Yep.
Then we'll be doing that. Okay.
That's asking a lot.
Tell you what, if we can get ourselves to how about 3,500, which I know that's even a taller order, I will give away a Chris Pronger autograph.
Ooh.
Let's add that little tidbit in there.
So we're going big time now.
Mm-hmm.
1,400 followers.
He's a close personal friend.
So I've heard. But the Twitter account is at LGB Radio. So go on to Twitter. If you don't have an account, create an account. Start following us on Twitter. We provide good content. Follow Jeff and Bill and myself, our personal accounts too. We're all listed on the show's account. So give it a follow. It's fun. It's a good time. And we tweet a lot.
Also, right below if you're listening live.
Yes, right on YouTube. On the show notes.
Yep.
Whoa.
I did that.
Good job. Okay. Bill put on a show,
Yeah.
a Blues Toronto. Oh, is that Ponders upload?
Yeah, that's Ponders.
Okay, we're now watching the streamed Blues and Maple Leafs Cup playoffs.
86 North Division Final Game 4. Blues 7, Maple Leafs 4.
Oh, you gave it away.
Oh man, just wait until you see, and I know you guys remember the goals that Greg Millen gives up. Oh my God.
Oh, that's back. In the day with
I
no
love
equipment
it.
and
The stand-up goalies, and just he was so aggressive. He came out like crazy, and it's like the easiest shots would beat him. Come on, man.
I think when you were ripping, when you were taking care of one of these, putting them online, I was watching another one on YouTube at the same time. We were talking about it, and I noticed the same thing. Greg Millen, very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Super aggressive.
Almost to a fault. But
There's one play, I think it's in the second period, where he literally comes out almost to the blue line to make a save. Like the guy's skating in, and he just comes out like he's going to charge the guy. And I'm like, get in your crease, man. What are you doing?
Who is he? Corey Crawford on Robbie Fabry? Come on.
Yeah, right. For those of you wondering what the hell we're talking about, my YouTube channel, I found a lot of old Blues games and I've been posting them up there. So find me on YouTube, JPonder94, games from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, which are always fun to go back and watch.
Oh, yeah. No ads on the boards. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And this is
It's
Greg
funny 'cause
Millen for all the goalie gear nerds like myself. This is Greg Millen pre-Aeroflex.
Pre-Aeroflex. My brother had a pair of Aeroflex pads.
Yeah, the first pair of goalie pads made it entirely out of styrofoam.
That's fantastic.
Well, they didn't absorb water, so there's that. Announcement number 3: Ponders Behind Enemy Lines Summer Series has wrapped up. You wanna?
It has.
Yeah, it has. So, how was that for you, Jeff? Post game recap.
What do you want me to go over every episode one by one?
No, like you got 10 seconds.
What was your favorite one?
Yeah, favorite one.
Oh, favorite one.
And don't
Wow,
don't
that's
do
a
the
tough
grandma
question.
thing with grandsons. They're all my favorite. Just pick one.
They're all my favorite. They're all my babies. I
That's
will
okay
say
because
Lackland-
chocolate's favorite anyway. Go ahead.
Lackland ruined it. Who's joined us last week, and don't worry, I remember that you were the one who did not mention me at first, so I will always hold that against you.
No, he was. He's playing the game the way he should. He's sucking up to the ones he needs to suck up to.
I'm sure he's right. Yeah, the ones that are one of the ones that are doing the giveaway. Yeah, that's you.
Right.
He says, Jeff, I love the Jets Behind Enemy Lines episode that came out yesterday. So yeah, I did post the last episode yesterday. If you haven't heard it yet, Winnipeg Jets. That was a lot of fun. Actually, when I listened back to that one, that was probably top 3, top 5. I will say that you asked me what my favorite one is. One that I really enjoyed.
This is the longest answer in the history of answers.
Especially one that was limited to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
What I'm what's the damn political term? I'm hell. When you stand in front of someone and you talk
Filibustering.
all day, so
You're filibustering.
Filibuster. Yes. I almost said jabbergasting. That's not right.
I almost said gerrymandering. so jabberwocking.
Jabberwocking.
Just
Anyway,
was the
one that
question
I
again?
really enjoyed was the Colorado Avalanche one, because we actually just started talking about like random, like how analytics works and how GMs have to assess their teams in the off season, and we got into a lot of like hockey discussion, not just about the Blues and Avalanche. So that was a lot of fun one, but we did that a little bit in the Jets one too. So you know what? It's hard to pick one. They're all my favorites.
all right. Announcement number the next one. Whatever. 4 is it? 4? I've lost track now. I can't remember.
Whatever.
You guys see the St. Louis police officers are going to wear commemorative Stanley Cup champion badges.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet looking.
That's awesome. They get to wear them for this season. So that's, and I guess after the season's over, I'm not sure what's going to happen to them, but they can't like sell them. It's pretty awesome. The Blues website has some pictures of them. That's just cool, and that's the first time it's ever been done. First time in history, the St. Louis Police Department has worn a badge dedicated to a St. Louis sports team's accomplishments. So as good as the Cardinals have been over their existence here, and their 11 World Championships. They've never done it for them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, St. Louis Ambush, St. Louis Sting,
Right.
St. Louis Eagles.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
St. Louis
River City
Cardinals,
Rascals.
football Cardinals, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
I might just try to get pulled over just to see one.
Yeah. Can I rub
Yeah,
it?
how weird is that going to be if, like, let's hope this doesn't happen, but, one of the Blues players maybe gets pulled over for something bad, and, they just, hey, you're wearing my badge, man. You can't arrest me.
Wow, what kind of accent was that?
Yeah.
That was
It was definitely not
Drunk.
Canadian.
Did you go
Drunk
into
guy.
criminal accent? Wow, that's kind of. Anyhow,
I don't know. I've been drinking. I've had 3 drinks of my beer.
there's some renovations at Enterprise Center. Opening night will feature a historic pregame show, rally, and viewing party that all starts at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The new policies, clear bag policy. Just don't bring a bag. Why do you just don't? I mean, seriously.
If you bring a bag, you are a bag. A D bag.
You're gonna slow everything down. Just don't bring a bag. Why? I don't. Why do you need a big bag of stuff? You leave your bag in the car. I guess women need some certain things at times. Fine, but if you're a guy bringing a bag, screw you. What are you doing? You got pockets.
Fanny
No
pack.
merces. No merces.
Speed entry. You no longer have to empty your pockets when going through security. That's going to be interesting because what if you have stuff in your pockets? I guess they can see through your pockets, but then what? You got something, let's take it out. How's that going to work? We'll find out. Sensory bags are available, fidget tools, noise canceling headphones, stuff like that. My son would like that. Grab and go section for quick bites to eat. All going to be expensive, I'm sure. Value size food options ranging from $4 to $8. Okay. Elevator
That's great
renovation.
because it's gonna cost $300 just to get in the door now.
I know, right? That's true. Elevator renovations will be going on, and only some will be usable. So I'm sure Mr. Blues Hat will love that.
Yeah, that's exactly who I thought of when I read that.
Check out the Blues website for details on which elevators are going to be working, or escalators.
Right, he probably single-handedly got that done.
They're doing it to spite him, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
To get back at him for all the negativity he spews on Twitter. How dare him?
They should rename the escalator, the one that he was on when it broke down. They should rename that the Mr. Blues Hat escalator.
MBH. Yeah.
There you go.
And there is a Blues 360 virtual reality experience station outside of Portal 15. So check that out. The Blue Note Champions 5K is this Sunday in Forest Park. Bill, Jeff, and myself are all running in that.
And walking.
Or whatever. We're going to
We're
finish.
going
Running
to attempt to run.
And walking.
We're going to finish the race is what we're going to say. That should be fun.
Let's hope.
Yeah. And Twitter and the NHL released team Twitter hashtags again this year. The Blues hashtag didn't change, thank God. It's STL Blues. Rangers?
Not altogether STL.
No.
Well, the Rangers is worse than that.
The Rangers is one character worse than altogether now STL. It's play like a New Yorker. Are you shitting me? Who?
That's terrible.
That is. If you look at, I got a list here of all the hashtags. Twitter. If you're not familiar with Twitter, you have a limited number of characters used on Twitter, and you get a special little emoji icon after you type in hashtag STL Blues. It's a little blue note, which is kind of cool. And so you don't want it to be a ton of characters, but of course the Rangers, you have all these short hashtags, and the Rangers is like twice as long as everyone else's. It's ridiculous. It's 19 characters.
I just don't get that. I mean,
18, 19?
It used to be. Didn't it used to be NYR, and that was it? It was 3 characters.
I think so. I think so. They're going
and
for
now
average.
they're going with the longest one there is.
Yeah, it's the longest one there's ever been. They've done it for like 3 years now. Anyhow,
Yeah, I mean,
I thought they should.
most
have
of
just
these
gone
are
with
what you would
Capo
guess.
Caco.
you watch it?
Yeah, most of these are what you would guess, except like Philly Fly or Die. I think that's a new one, isn't it?
I don't like that. I mean, yeah, it's new. It's fly or die. I said the Blues did this a couple years ago. They integrated their team slogan for the year into their hashtag. All together now, STL. No, don't do that. Just
It's
no.
STL Blues.
Yes, and Toronto Leafs forever. That's too long. Just TML.
Yeah.
My God, that just or Maple Leafs be fine. Who else? What else is bad? Fly or die is bad.
I've never liked Go Bolts.
Go
It
Bolts.
should just be TBL or Lightning or something. Yeah.
Maybe Lightning is another hashtag with something with the Weather Channel. I don't know.
I do like all caps. I think all caps is pretty cool.
All caps is cool. That because it's got double meaning. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Vegas Born is okay. Yeah. Anyway,
Sabres. I like Sabres 50 because it
their
is
50th season.
it is talking about their 50th season, but it's also still kind of short.
Right. No, it's fine. I have no problem with that. NHL Bruins is weird. Putting NHL in front. Why?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
There's no other Bruins except the college teams, right?
UCLA.
Yeah. Do they have
Yeah.
Bruins?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's why. That makes sense.
But still, what about like Go Bruins or
Go Bruins.
yeah, something like that,
Or-
or we're all a bunch of douchebags.
Or second place.
Or BOS Bruins. That's the same characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Spoked Bee. I like Spoked Bee.
Spoked
that
Bee?
would be good.
Spoke to be is good. That's not bad.
Tom Brady sucks. How about that one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Pats suck it. That's a good one.
I like that one.
The
I'm
official
gonna submit
beers.
that to them.
The official beers of episode 129 are what? Bill.
Mostly gone.
Are mostly gone.
My favorite brewery. I drink it all the time on the show.
Your favorite beery?
Founders, and this is the latest in their barrel aged series, and it's a good one. Underground Mountain Brown barrel aged Imperial Brown Ale with Sumatra coffee.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love
Let me smell the bottle.
I love the
Ooh.
regular Sumatra Mountain Brown, but this one, yeah.
The scent of the beer with the ever so slight hint of your saliva. Yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, that's creepy. Okay, Jeff, what's your beer?
I'm into that. I'm into that. Mine is one of my favorite breweries, Urban Chestnut. Let me hold it up here. It's the Kinsale. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. It's a stout product of the USA.
It's
Reverence
Kinsale.
Series.
It's Italian.
Is that's probably not correct.
I'm making that up.
Fragile.
It's fragile. It's Italian.
Fragile. So for this one, this is one I've never had before. Named for the southern island town, boasting a Caribbean sister town of the same name, this foreign export style stout has become an Irish perfected, Caribbean loved style of beer. Historically, generously hopped and full of roasted malt flavors, our version leans toward the creamy, sweet side of things. Prost. You always think of Darren Pang, right?
No, well, yeah, but every time I
hear Prost, I think of Darren Pang.
Well, every time we read off like what's on the label and the description of the beers and how uppity sometimes it sounds, I always think of a 75-year-old man kicking back, listening to the show, drinking like a Milwaukee's Best, just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
What are those queers drinking?
It's all right. This is okay. It's not my favorite from them, but it's definitely worth trying if you're into stouts.
My beer of the episode is from Against the Grain Brewery in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
It is Regretful Tattoo.
Also a stout.
It's a stout beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the description of this beer is why I bought it, actually, because you go and you get a bunch of craft stouts, you can buy anything, but this one was wiggity woo. We're putting in the swimming pool, And if there's enough left over, we're going to fly you all down here to help us dedicate it.
Any Christmas vacation reference is good by me.
And this is not your typical Jelly of the Month Club milk stout. This stout is silky smooth and sweet, and it's worth the $35,000, but you can only have a little because the rest is ours. So it's pretty good. I like it a lot. It's a good stout. 7%. It's a pint. It's supposed to be 48 degrees. Drink from the can. I'm not drinking from a can. I don't do that. I'm civilized.
Hey,
I drink from I drink from a glass that says "fuck yeah" on it. That's what I do.
wow, that's so civilized.
Right. All right. Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, October 1st, 2019 is today's date. October 1st, 1977, St. Louis Blues retired the number 3 jersey of Bob Gassoff in the newly renamed Checkerdome. The game versus the Atlanta Flames was to benefit the St. Louis Children's Hospital. For those of you that do not know, Bob Gassoff passed away in a motorcycle quote accident on whose farm was it?
I can't remember.
Was it Unger's?
Unger's farm. I'm pretty sure it was Unger's farm.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And Bruce Affleck, I think, was first on the scene there when he wrecked his bike. So, and I think his wife was pregnant at the time, which was just a sad all around story.
Yep.
Yeah, terrible
Yeah.
day in Blues history.
Yep.
Probably the worst.
Yes. Also, 1977, Bobby Plager announced his retirement from the St. Louis Blues and became a scout. And today's date in 1986, St. Louis Blues owner Harry Arnest. I do believe that Bruce Affleck called him a carpetbagger at one point. Reaches official agreement on the sale of the St. Louis Blues to Mike Shanahan on October 1st, 1986. So Shanahan being I remember him being a player's owner, likable guy. Was good for the team.
Backdater of stock options.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like a team owner goes, you know,
Right.
he was
the guy you wanted.
He was a great owner. Yeah.
He was the guy you wanted.
Ethically, otherwise, maybe not so good, but
Yeah.
but as a franchise, as a sports franchise owner, he was a good one.
Nobody's perfect.
That's true.
Except
The History Made book we talked about before the show went on, $67, and I think we're all getting it. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I
I'm
think we
saving
all
my
agree
money
that
for
if-
the next item on the list.
Oh yeah, right.
If that was $150, I think we would all still buy it. But don't tell the Blues that.
No, I wouldn't be doing that for that much. 67 was near my upper limit as far as like what I was going to pay for a book.
And because 67 is the year we came into the league.
Yeah, but we get $5 off, so I'm only paying 62. Because if you pre-order, it's $5 off.
Well, that don't make no sense.
So 62, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
62 was the number of saves made by Greg Millen in the 86 playoffs.
Ron Tugnutt.
I'm totally
made
making that up.
62.
Total saves.
Pre-sales are available now at stlauthentics.com. All pre-orders prior to October 9th come with a DVD and replica autograph sheet. So there you go.
You guys going to be pre-ordering?
I already did.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't done
likely
it yet, but I will.
Yeah, I likely will. So we only have 8 more days.
The
Yeah,
Blues
I'll be doing it.
The Blues players received the Stanley Cup championship rings yesterday, and they're pretty stunning. You guys have seen them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Every detail
You know-
about them is just
What, Jeff? What?
He didn't get one. He's pissed.
I love them. I mean, they're great looking. They commemorate a lot of great things. The fact that it's the first one for this franchise is great, but in general, championship rings for me nowadays, they've got to be way too ridiculous.
Oh, I agree with you. But I'm just saying,
I mean, they are so gaudy you can't even wear them.
Well, and Kachuk got one, and I'm trying to what role did Kachuk play to get one?
Scout.
He was a scout. Okay. I was figuring it had to be something like that. So, but he was talking about how he had one, and they asked him on the radio what he was going to do with it, and he goes, "Well, I'll wear it the first day. My son's got someone's got a game tonight, so I'm going to go to that, and some people there probably want to see it, so I'll show it to them. And after that, we're going to put it away, and I'll break it out for special occasions. Maybe that's about it. And you can't wear the damn things. You're right, Jeff.
You can't wear it.
No. They're gaudy, but it's not. I don't think it's about wearing it. I mean,
No.
unless you go to a special event where you can say, "Hey, look at this."
Right.
That's what I'm
It's-
saying. Even for that, it's a chore, I'm sure, to have that thing on your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It
you
should
know what?
at least be like to where you could wear it and it's not going to like cause you to not be
But-
able to pick your arm up at the end of the night.
But you know what? I agree. It's huge and gaudy, and they're all that way nowadays. But you know what? When you put it on, you go somewhere for a special event, you're constantly thinking about it, and and everyone notices it because it's so big and ridiculous. That I guess that's the point of it is to, hey, I'm a Stanley Cup champion, and
Right.
I want everyone to know it. And here
Right.
it is.
You don't get the Stanley Cup, right? You don't
Right.
get to keep that. You
Right.
you get your memories of that. You get to keep the ring.
Fans can buy one for. I mean, I don't think it's identical.
No,
but
it's-
it's damn close.
Yeah.
It's
For
12
the, for the small price.
of $12,139 while supplies last.
Yeah.
That's insane. So if you don't have 12,000 laying around, you can get an Elite Fan ring, which is a stripped down version of the ring. Looks similar, not near as expensive. $600.
Nope.
So you guys get one?
Nope.
It was either
And
the
I'm
book
not-
or the ring, and I'm getting the book.
And I'm not paying $400 for the cufflinks.
It's-
No. You know what though? You can get a keychain
right for
for 30 bucks. I'm like, that is doable.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Yeah. Saw that. That's,
If for those that are watching live, you're seeing my new setup behind me, obviously in a new house from where I was last season. So that accompanied with the money I spent this summer on championship gear, accompanied with the money I'm going to be spending for the book and everything else. I mean, custom framing newspapers, that is not cheap. So
No.
yeah, I think the wife would
Friday
probably.
night.
That's true. All the beer, yes. But no, I think I would probably be divorced if I tried to spend even another couple $100 on something because it's been a little crazy this summer. I've spent a lot of money that I shouldn't have spent.
Yep. I think most fans are in your boat with that. I've spent more than I probably should have. Just got the new flag too. The flag wasn't expensive. You can't see it on camera there, but that's new. The championship flag.
By the way, great note here from Mr. Blues Hat in the chat. He says the $62 for the book after the pre-order, that is a nod to Martin Ruchinski. That's got to be
Nice.
true, right?
Nice. That is a
What-
great callback.
Odds that Martin Ruchinski is even mentioned in the book. What do you say? I mean,
He was-
unless they list every roster player ever.
That's the only way he's in there, I think.
What was the best team he was a part of? Probably 03? Was he 03?
Blues wise? Because I thought the best team he was a part of was Colorado, right? He was on a
Yeah.
cup winner
Well,
there.
No.
Or
I'm talking about
no.
Blues.
That's right. He was part of the Patrick Waugh trade.
Was he?
I want to say he was
He came to Colorado.
I don't know if that's right.
with He
I'm
came
going-
to
I'm
Colorado
going to
with Patrick
fight
Waugh.
you
So
on that.
he was with them for the first winter.
I am looking it up right
'Cause it
now, sir,
was-
because I'm going to challenge you on that.
It was Waugh and Ruchinski for Kovalenko, Tebow, and one other guy.
You know what? That's before that trade happened. Before that trade happened, I told my cousin. I said, Colorado is going to win the cup this year, and then
So
they
are you
traded for
saying
Waugh.
that? Were you saying that he was sent to Colorado or to Montreal?
I
In that
thought
trade.
Curt just said he was sent to Colorado
hold
with
on.
Waugh. Was it the other way?
He was.
Was-
I've got it right here. I have it. He was traded to Montreal in that trade.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
That's
who
what
the
I
other
thought.
guy
He was
yeah.
not
Yeah.
a part of the Cup team.
He was only in Colorado for 22 games.
Yeah.
Kovalenko, Ruchinski, and Tebow for Keane and Waugh.
Okay,
God, I
Quinoa.
that was a long time ago. That was
Right.
24 years ago.
Quinoa.
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 I love
and you
Quinoa.
forget because Keane was the captain of the team.
Mike
at the time he
Keane.
got traded.
There was
So
a
you trade the franchise goalie and the captain of the team and get nothing in return.
I did a
All right, here's another great comment from Mr. Blues Hat. He's killing it tonight, folks. Ruchinski has a better shot of being mentioned than Tyson Strachan, also number 62.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Or was he just saying Ruchinski has a better shot than Tyson? He could be either one. Better shot being in the book, or a better shot hockey wise.
Altogether.
Yes, both.
I would agree on both.
I'm sure Mr. Booze has getting the at least the $600 ring. He's got to.
Yeah, give us the answer there, sir.
Yeah,
I want to hear that.
He's getting the $600 ring at least. Clem Costin sent to San Antonio after an impressive training camp. The organization wants him to play every day. He impressed in camp, but they said he still has some things to work on. You've got to think at some point this season he'll get called up at some point to for injury or performance reasons or whatever. He's going to play in the NHL this season at some point.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to backtrack, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. I just want to add that if people have not seen the video of Parayko and Steen delivering the championship ring to Layla,
Yeah.
you need to watch that. It's a tearjerker, but it's pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah.
That's all I'll add. Then we can talk about Clem Costin.
Yeah. No, he like I said, I think he'll be up with the team at some point this year, whether it be a performance issues with somebody on the team or an injury or something that
Right.
as long as he plays well.
Right. I think right now he is the first offensive call up, with especially
Easily.
with Kyrie being injured.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think if even if Kyrou wasn't injured, I think that would still be the case. I think the way that honestly, any other season, Clem Costin is on this team right now. But they're stacked. They're too stacked right now to add him. They don't have room for him. If he plays, it would be once every couple games, and barring injury, because he's not going to crack the lineup on opening night. And if they win at all, they're not going to make any lineup changes. So,
And
it makes sense
he doesn't
for those
have
of
to
you that
clear
are pissed
waivers.
off. Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah,
Mr.
and he will. He's going to get playing time in San Antonio. That's the big thing.
Right.
It's like when Billy Husso wasn't going to be called up anytime soon because they wanted him to play. He's not going to play behind Jake Allen because Jake Allen's going to be playing. So it's the same with Clem Costin. You're not going to play him. Might as well give him some time to play top line minutes there in San Antonio.
Let's hope that the Costin quote quote play every game works out better for him than it did for Husso last year.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
And Mr. Boozhat says, nope, the $600 ring is ugly. So I guess it's the $12,000 one for him then. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, right. Back to Costin real quick too. I'll add how many preseason how many preseason games did you guys watch?
2.5.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, I'd say about 2.5.
I'd say about that for me too.
Yeah.
From what I saw, and I saw him play a little bit last season too. We went to one of the preseason games, and I think one of the games was televised. He looks like a completely different player from what I saw a year ago. It's like he's figured it out, and I think everyone that has seen him play and anyone who's read anything about him this preseason and this training camp, he's ready to go in the NHL, and that is very encouraging because I think there was even last season there was talks: is he going to be able to figure it out to make it in the NHL one day? Is he going to be an NHL player, or are we going to see him go to the KHL? I think we will see him being an NHL player. I don't know if we'll see him be a top line guy like he's projected, but I think we will definitely see him as an NHL player. Probably if there's any trades this season, we could even see him as a regular guy by the end of the season.
There's a lot of talent in front of him on the top six. I mean, maybe. Like I said, it depends on who plays how and who gets hurt and who doesn't.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, for him to get regular playing time here, it would have to be like multiple injuries, like to Blais, Fabry, and Sanford.
You think?
Because I think those are the guys that he was competing for a spot against.
You think Blais? Right now, he's practicing on the top line, so that's as far as we all know. He's going to go with
O'Reilly and Perron.
on the top line.
Yeah.
So I mean, is Blais a guy that's going to be on the top line most of the season? I mean, can he sustain that?
See, you look at last season and the talk. What was the talk coming out of training camp last year? Oh, the top line is going to be O'Reilly, Tarasenko, and Maroon, right? But then they found out Maroon doesn't have the speed to keep up with those guys. Blais has the speed to keep up with Perron and O'Reilly. I think that if that's the mold they're looking for, if they're looking for somebody to step in and be a forechecker and go to the front of the net and do all the dirty work on the top line along with Perron, I think it could work. We'll see, but that. I think that has better potential than the Maroon, O'Reilly, Tarasenko line going into last season.
So with the Blues, we got the addition of Falk, the subtraction of Edmondson and Maroon. Really, the only major changes to this team. Is this a better team than last year's team? Right now, as we stand.
Yes.
Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have 3 all-star right-handed shooting defensemen on this team. Like the going into this offseason, you didn't think that, they would do anything to address the D because it was solid. But they upgraded. I mean, bringing in Falk, I mean, that's what I'm hoping happens with Falk coming in is that he gets all the power play time. Petro is off the power play. Petro can focus on penalty kill and even strength play, manage his minutes that way, manage everybody's minutes. 'Cause this is going to be the hardest part about winning the cup is being able to stick with it the following year, like
right.
Not having the hangover, not having the energy to show up every night. That addition, I mean, on so many levels is going to be so much better for this team. Pat Maroon, like, thank God he was here for the playoffs, but he was forgettable for most of the regular season last year. Give Sammy Blais
The first
chance,
70 games.
right? Give Sammy Blais the chance to play here all year in that role, and I think he is twice the player Maroon was during the regular season.
Oh, offensively, he's not even close. He's so much. It's not even close. Skill level wise, he's not as big of a body, but Shen
But
did
he
say
plays like a big body.
he does. No, I mean he'll bang. That's great, and that's fantastic to have on the top line, especially a guy who can bang with skill. That's a commodity. But I think Shen said it was Shen. Maybe it was somebody else. I thought it was Shen. Said that, and it'll be interesting to see how the Blues play the first quarter of the season or so, because Shen talked a lot about pacing themselves because they played at such a high intensity in the playoffs last season that, and towards the end of the season, that they, and he didn't say this, but I got the impression this is what he was getting at, that they can't play that way during the season, especially early on, because they have to pace themselves. If they play that way during the season, they're going to get burned out real quick. And we've talked about this, and this has been talked about on other to death, about how teams ramp things up during the playoffs and play with much more intensity than they do during the season. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how balls to the wall the Blues go the first 20 or so, 30 games of the season, compared to the rest of the season, if they're going to pace themselves and how they're going to do that.
I think that's part of the whole Stanley Cup hangover process. I know that most of when people talk about that, they talk about, are they going to be ready to go? Were they still injured? But I think a lot of it is they need to find the right amount of intensity to go through an 82 game season. Because like you said, you can't, I mean, you look at the way they played in games, well, I don't want to say game 6, but game 5, game 7 against Boston. They can't repeat that intensity even for a half of the season. I mean, that's going to get real taxing really quick. So I think a part of the feeling out process of coming back after a Stanley Cup win or even going to the Stanley Cup final is just finding that comfort zone where it's, okay, we can still play intense, but let's not go balls to the wall and kill ourselves 20 games into the season.
Right.
And I think that's, you look at Washington last year. Washington came out and played fine. People were all making the jokes that they're all going to come out hungover all the time. They looked fine, and I think the Blues are going to find that just fine. I think the leadership in that room, Craig Berube behind the bench, I think they'll be able to figure it out pretty quick. And I'll say, to answer your original question, Curt, is this team better? You guys mentioned Sammy Blais. I think Blais and again, I know there might be people that disagree with me here. I know Mr. Blues Hat's going to disagree with me here, that because he's a huge Pat Maroon fan. Sammy Blais. Sorry, had to go there. Sammy Blais is an improvement over Pat Maroon, and nothing against Pat Maroon. I think Maroon's a fine player, but Blais has the speed, the skill, the hands. Maroon was a presence, and that's to be sure in the offensive zone. But I think Blais is a full season of him, and let's not forget, like Bill said, the 3 all-star defensemen on the right side. Not to mention Jay Bomeister rounded back out last year and looked pretty good. Carl Gunnarsson's looking good. This team's stacked defensively. And add in, we're going to have a second full season of Robert Thomas. And
Oh yeah.
a lot of people haven't really been talking about him because the talk has been Justin Falk and Sammy Blais and Clem Costin in the preseason. Nobody's talked about Robert Thomas. I think this is going to be a great season for him. And we talked a little bit last week about the Braden Shen contract situation. If he is looking like a superstar, which I don't know if it'll happen this season, that's expendable to get rid of Braden Shen if that happens. Not saying it will, but a full season of Robert Thomas after his rookie year, I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, and that is a great point. I mean, God, Pat Maroon's double overtime winner. I mean, we talked about this last week. That we've talked about it many times at this show. That was all Robert Thomas, and Maroon used his size to drive the net and chip it in. But that whole play was Robert Thomas. Yeah. You forget because he was rendered pretty ineffective with a wrist injury in the Boston series. Just how exciting he was and how dominant he was at times in the Dallas series. Bring him on. Like I can't wait to see how good he is this year.
The lines
It's
in
funny because I've had. Oh, sorry. I was just going to add that I've had people who went and saw preseason games from other teams and who watched him in the postseason last year from other teams tell me, "Holy cow, that Robert Thomas is one hell of a hockey player." And so hearing that from other fans, other media members, it goes to show we're not just blowing smoke up this kid's ass. I mean, he's going to be a hell of a hockey player in the NHL.
Mr. Blues Hat said in the YouTube chat, the Maroon Mafia is going to come after you for not exalting him and attributing the cup win to only him.
Well, it's a long drive
Well, it
from
is only
Tampa
him.
Bay.
Cat Church
Cat,
has made an appearance. It's like a Cat Church out of nowhere. This team is nothing without Maroon.
well, Maroon is. I mean, without this, they might go 0-82 without Pat Maroon. Let's be honest here.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Mr. Blues Hat, you are not welcomed in Oakville because every bar out here there is a Pat Maroon jersey hanging up.
I don't know why. I mean, he didn't take the cup to any bars in Oakville, did he?
Right.
I mean, they all bitched about him.
He didn't walk up and down Telegraph with the Stanley Cup going into every single business.
Anybody want to touch
What
the
a
cup?
dick. He didn't stop at my house party. What a jerk.
Oh, Dan Draheim is still mad Maroon didn't bring the cup. Well, that's you and half of St. Louis. The lines in practice today, though, were Schwartz, Shin, Tarasenko, top line, Blais, O'Reilly, Perron, Fabry, Bozak, Thomas, Barbashev, Sundqvist, and Steen, and McEachern, Sanford, and Kyrou, the odd line out. Pietrangelo, Falk, Bomeister, Parayko, and Dunn, Bertuzzo, with Gunnarsson as the seventh. I would imagine Gunnarsson and Bertuzzo will be interchangeable, game to game, with everyone else.
Depends on who you're playing.
Well, right, exactly. Who we're playing, how their style of game, what's more conducive for our defense to play, and if Dunn made a mistake the game before.
Right.
Whether he gets benched.
Yeah, right.
Well, now he's a third-year player, so
Okay.
he gets a little more slack.
Hope so.
Especially after playing with a broken jaw and
Yes.
Yeah, going back to the Boston series, every time he touched the puck in the offensive zone, he made something happen.
They did. And I bringing up his broken jaw, I'm watching Game 7, and they kind of touched on it during the broadcast. And I was like, Dunn had the same thing that Chara had, and Dunn, it got mentioned a couple times, and when Chara had it, oh my God, you think that he was putting on Superman's cape and doing the impossible. Like, but Dunn is doing the same thing, and he's not getting
Chara's
credit for that.
Chara, done is done. That's why.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all you got to do is go back and look at the goal where we all knew it was going to happen in Game 7. Tarasenko made the pass through Chara's legs, and you have to imagine that him wearing that half shield had something to do with him being able to sneak that through there.
Possibly. Good point.
This is all that matters, right here.
That's true.
This is all that matters, folks.
I would play Glory right now if the audio would pipe through.
So write a note. What time is this Add Gloria in?
Oh, I don't know. The new software.
We
doesn't
should probably
show
mention to the we should mention to the podcasters I was just lifting my replica Stanley Cup. That's what I was showing.
Right.
I forgot. This is a mostly podcast show.
Take the lover in the afternoon.
There it is. I hear it.
I can't play too much of it.
Like
That's
it.
the real song. I don't want to get flagged.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah.
The bots got you.
Yeah.
But looking at the lines here, I will say, man, I there's a player that I'm really excited about, and he's got a one-way contract, I believe, and Mackenzie McEachern, right? Isn't that the deal he signed last year?
Yep.
I loved his game, and I was surprised to see him not get a lot of minutes there in the postseason. Sanford's a good player. I know a lot of people use him as the whipping boy now, but I think McEachern is probably a better overall guy to have on your fourth line. Maybe even step in on the third line.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
so.
excited to see what he can do this year.
I'm not a Sanford fan. Not really.
I still like him.
I think he has the potential to be something, but I don't see that consistency that he needs to have. I mean, granted, he's still developing to some degree, but maybe he gets the consistency figured out and he's fine. But I'm not confident he's gonna do that.
Right. He's still, I don't know. He's like, NES hockey. He's the skinny guy, right? Easily knock off the puck. Good hands, easily knock off the puck. That's still how he feels. I mean, the first goal he scored in the first preseason game this year was very sweet, but everybody's rusty, right? So you're not going to get that kind of time and space during a regular season game.
I can see him getting. I can see him over time being a healthy scratch, and then moving guys around and giving Costin a look.
Yeah,
Kyrou a shot in his spot, something like that.
Yeah. So I mentioned the NES character, the skinny character. There are two players in the history of the Blues that have reminded me of that character, and Sanford's one of them. The other was Vitaly Kramnov.
I was just gonna say that.
He was that.
I was just gonna say that.
He was that.
Yeah.
He was the weakest.
I see that.
Skinny. Yeah. That was a bad draft.
I see that.
Was it Prokhorov was supposed to be the best talent,
Yeah.
and Korolov was easily the best talent.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, not that he was
had-
Orlov
fantastic.
had a long
Right.
NHL
He had a long
career.
career, but he was more. None of them were goal scorers. Korolov was more of a third line guy. But, he had a long. Yeah, he had what 12 year career or something like that. It was.
He
had a
was
nice
all
career.
over the NHL.
Yeah, but Karamnov and Prokhorov were like what 20 some
Flashes
games
in
and
the
done.
pan, yeah.
They were done. It was did bad.
Yeah.
The Russian
And-
three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Korolev was in the locomotive, the
Yes.
plane crash.
Yes,
So,
he was.
Have to mention that. Sad.
Is the relatively short 3-month layoff a concern? We talked about the hangover, which, and a lot of times we discussed, it's not really a hangover. It's a team trying to figure out pacing. But the short 3-month layoff, what do you think? We've never experienced this before.
I'm not that concerned about it. I think that these guys are professionals. I think you look at going back to the hand pass game against the Sharks. The way that Craig Berube approached that really showed that he has a stranglehold on the leadership in this locker room. And I think that this team's going to be just fine. Yeah, maybe they come out and sputter a little bit, but I think that happens, whether they win the cup or not. I think if we start seeing some issues in November, December, we all know that run they had last year can't really be replicated. But I think they're going to be fine. I'm not concerned.
You brought up the hand pass game in San Jose and how Berube handled that. That's gotten a lot of attention. I don't think it's gotten enough attention. I think the way he handled that and the way he got his team to respond to that and how they treated that situation is legendary. That is fantastic, because from being Blues fans for so long, that's the kind of thing that just crumbled.
Yeah.
They made the team just crumble.
Yes.
That we just couldn't handle it, and it's always they couldn't get past it, and they played angry. They took penalties, and they took themselves out of the next game, and the series was over. But it was like it never happened.
Right.
Or they used it to motivate themselves in a positive way, and they didn't discuss it. It was fantastic, and I think
Not
that
to throw shade at David Backus or Chris Pronger, but you look at the teams when they were the leaders, even Dallas Drake, and the next game they'd come out, take stupid penalties in the first period. David Backus would get thrown out for something stupid he did. Chris Pronger would slash Owen Nolan. I mean, it was always something that would lead to the Blues giving up an early lead the next game. And yeah, lo and behold, the next game, what was it, 35 seconds in, Ivan Barbashev scores. I mean, it was a completely different Blues team.
Well, in stark contrast, DeBoer learned nothing from the way Berube handled the situation with things that went on in the game in the games after the hand pass incident, because he wouldn't stop bitching about it. He wouldn't stop bitching about shit that was going on in games. I'm like, you are handling this the exact opposite of the way Berube handled the hand pass, and they crashed and burned. So I think that's a lesson to be learned for coaches everywhere. Kid coaches.
Well, for those of you who want to hear more about that, tune into Behind Enemy Lines, the San Jose Sharks episode. We talked in very, very lengthy discussion about that, and the guys from Teal Town, USA agreed that DeBoer kind of came out looking like the fool after that, and he's probably on the hot seat this season because of the way that he handled it, the press conferences and who he played in that series when they were injured and all of that. And again, you look at the way Craig Berube handled everything in that series and the adversity they faced against Boston, and he wasn't being a drama queen to the media, which was huge and really spoke to the character of this team.
So your guys' thoughts on Bennington and how he'll perform this season, his first, hopefully, full season, wearing the blue note. So last season, not even half a season. So thoughts this year on him duplicating or coming close to what he did last year, at least in a sense where he'll give the team a chance to win.
I'll let Bill go first, but while he does that, for those of you watching live, you're going to get a little treat from me. So go ahead, Bill.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, great. Wait, can I?
He's got the Bennington jersey on. Okay.
Oh, you son of a bitch. So I really hope that Jake Allen gets to start tomorrow night so that he can throw it in everybody's face that, that first game of last year when you meanies booed at him. No, I think so. I think that clearly Bennington. I as a Blues fan believe he was robbed of the Calder Trophy. The small sample size stuff. Am I worried about it? No. I loved his answer. I forget exactly what he said the other day. And I think it was about small sample size.
If you point a gun at me, I'm going to turn around and point right back at you.
Yeah. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
The swagger and the confidence, and he delivered. He wasn't flawless or faultless, but he delivered last year. Go back to games 5 and game 7 of the Boston series, and he he delivered performances that we haven't seen in a goaltender since Grant Fuhr.
His
Mullen.
record after a loss, yeah, right. His record after a loss was ridiculous. I mean, he was almost unbeatable. So
13-2 or something.
it was crazy. Yeah, something like that.
Something ridiculous. Yeah.
So it
And
his
his save percentage was ridiculous too. It was like 968 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bill. I think that what makes if he was a shy guy and kind of meek and timid, I'd have reservations maybe about how he was going to play this year, and I'd be cautiously optimistic maybe. But I'm like, yeah, his swagger has me on board with. I think he has the right attitude for it. Now, could he come out and have a crap season? Sure, but
Right.
I don't think that's likely.
Right. Anybody
It's-
could come out and crash and burn.
Right, sure.
I don't expect that
It's
to
funny
happen
because,
with him.
and I think Bill can speak to this better than Curt and I, that, you look at goalies and, always hear about how weird they are. And it's not even that they're weird. It's that there's some fragile to them, as we say, for friends
Ooh,
of
must be Italian.
Christmas Story. Yeah. No, it's there's some fragileness to goaltenders, and I think that's why you see, and no offense to I don't mean to keep picking on Jake Allen, but that's why Jake Allen is not relied on as an NHL goalie, because he will have a great game, and it's okay. Let's see that confidence, and then he'll come out and have a stinker, and then he'll have 5 more after that.
Don't apologize
not-
for picking on a goalie. If someone doesn't want to get picked on, play better.
That's true.
That's all I gotta
point.
say.
But no, and even guys like going back to the Roman Turek days, and Blues fans can speak to bad goaltending probably more than anyone else in the entire NHL. But you look at so many goalies, the exception of the greats, the Hall of Famers, who even the fringe guys like Chris Osgood. Chris Osgood had a fine career, but Red Wings fans would tell you that once he gave up a bad goal, he was nothing the rest of the game. You might as well pull him then and put in whoever else is the backup, Manny Legacy or whoever. And that's not Jordan Binnington. And I know that I will say that one game he had, I think it was at game 3 against Boston, he had a real rough first period, and they had to put Jake Allen in. That was a game you were at, wasn't it, Bill?
No.
No?
I
Okay.
was.
Well, either way.
They put him in between second and third. Allen
Yeah.
played just the one period, third
right,
period.
no,
Yeah.
that was game
That's
3.
what it
No,
was.
I was at game 4 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a game where, okay, maybe, he looked a little weak, he looked a little fragile. That's going to happen to any NHL goalie. But when you see Jordan Binnington give up a goal where it's like, I don't want to say weak, but okay, maybe he could have stopped that. You still trust him to come out and make a big save. And that's saying a lot from a goalie, from a franchise that's never really had a franchise goalie. I mean, we talk about it all the time in the show. The franchise goalie for the Blues, God love him, Brian Elliott. Outside of him, there's not really been a true franchise goalie, and I think we're seeing that now in Jordan Binnington.
So we talked about Thomas having a breakout type of season, which I'm totally on board with. But any other players stand out to you guys as far as having a breakout year goes? Like,
Yeah, that young kid, Alexander Steen, think he could maybe have a good breakout season. We'll see.
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
30
If he-
goals from Alexander
If he can
Steen.
get 18 goals, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't many candidates, right? It's
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
it's pretty much the same roster, but-
right? And we already denigrated Sanford enough, I think. I think the other guys that could possibly have, if they cracked the roster and had a breakthrough season, Costin, Kyrou,
Parayko?
and- Well,
I'm-
Parayko
my-
could have a breakout year and be the Norris Trophy winner. right?
Well, the thing
That's
with
the next step for
the thing with Parayko for me is that he's developed into a stud defenseman, a flat out stud defenseman. But and we talked about this last week as far as when his offense is going to catch up to his the rest of his game, because he had 10 goals last year, I think it was. but I think he has so much more offensive stuff in him. But he's not playing on the power play, at least initially this year, because Berube said he likes Parayko after the power play against their lesser units, against their lesser lines.
Please, God, don't make that mean Petrangelo on the power play. Please, God, don't let
It's got to be
Petrangelo-
Falk, right? I mean,
Well, yeah,
it's
Falk-
gotta be Falk.
It's got to be
Falk
and-
on one line and Dunn on the other.
right in
But
4 forwards.
That means Petrangelo's. I think Bomeister and Parayko, Berube said he liked them after the power play against their third line or whatever, fourth line. So that would mean likely Petrangelo is on the power play still.
If he's on the second unit, it's not as bad.
Right.
They kept throwing him out there on the first unit, and I think that
Right.
was where they
and
were
he
getting
just
hurt.
he kills all the creativity and just by holding on to the puck too long and overthinking stuff and people don't move their feet, they get out of position, and it's just he's not, I've said it before many times that I don't think he's instinctive enough. I think he overthinks it. In the power play, when you're successful, you're getting stuff at the net quickly and not trying to make perfect plays.
So we talked about breakout candidates,
Yep.
and I just want to voice mine that I think the top one, and I know he kind of already had a breakout season, but I think the one that makes the most sense would be Robbie Fabry, right? I
Yeah.
mean, coming off injury, not a great season last year. Apparently, he's looked good in camp. He's looked good in preseason. I could see the Fabry, Bozak, Thomas line. If he could get going, that could be a hell of a third line. So I think he's a guy. You're pointing at something there, Bill. What you pointing at?
The goal that Doug Gilmour just scored, shooting it. What are you doing?
If you're talking to a
I
sideways,
was trying to get your attention.
I saw. I watched it. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the goal that Doug Gilmour just scored, where he shot it, it wound up lofting over top of Ken Reggett.
Oh, yeah.
Into the net.
Yep.
Just absolutely like I remember seeing that live back in the day,
I
and it
don't.
was like that was amazing.
What year is this?
86.
86. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I remember the series, but I don't remember. Like I told Jeff this. I remember the series. I remember watching it. I don't remember details about it though.
I
Yeah,
remember
watching these
hating
games
Rick
have been a lot of
Vive in
fun.
that stupid fucking horse collar that he wore.
So about the division, and how it's going to shape up this year. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the Blackhawks had a lot of additions, some turnover. They still have some defensive issues. Avalanche brought in Kadri, which, I mean, if there's not a reason to hate Colorado now, I mean, we got one now, so
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
Colorado literally added a second line.
Right.
I mean, they didn't
did.
have a second line. They just did that this summer.
Yep.
In
Donskoy,
Kadri, Donskoy, and
Bur-
Burakovsky.
Yeah.
Sakic was very active.
Yeah. And they're, I mean, I don't think their defense is going to be mature enough to be effective this year. I think they're exciting, but they're so young and they're going to make mistakes.
I like Grubauer.
I like Grubauer as a goalie,
I like
right?
Grubauer.
But
I think
I
he'll be
like
a strong.
Grubauer. I love Sam Girard. I think he's a
Yeah.
hell of a player.
did you see that move that he made the other night? Broke
Was it
somebody's
a
ankles.
spinorama?
Spinorama going behind his own net, and somebody bit on it and crashed into the boards. It was beautiful.
The Stars are interesting. They've got they had a number of folks leave. Zuccarello, Spezza, Ritchie, Pitlick, Lovejoy.
Michushkin.
Yeah, Ben
Just-
Lovejoy retired,
Yep.
right? Like
He retired?
early retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
They added Pavelski and Corey Perry. So again, I hated the Stars already,
Yeah.
and now they have Perry.
Yeah.
Pavelski
Talk about adding a second line. Jesus Christ, Pavelski and Perry.
Well, Perry is a guy
they're
that
older.
Pavelski is a guy I respect the hell out of. I like Pavelski,
Right.
but Perry is a guy that
Right.
I'm not giving any groundbreaking news here. He's a dick.
Right.
But-
That's the best word to describe him. He's
He's a dick.
And he's
So-
also starting the year on the IR.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I know he's hurt.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Well, good.
Broke his foot, right?
Yeah.
How long is he out? Oh, broke his foot.
Yeah, he broke his foot, I think.
So he's probably out 6'8", huh?
Yeah, but I mean, still, honestly, as much as I hate to give him credit, he doesn't need to play in 82 games to be effective. You
No.
know, let him rest to start the year, and he's going to come out in December, January, and look pretty damn good, I would imagine.
Yeah, because
He's not going to be relied. I think that's the key with him. Is I think in going into Anaheim last year, he was still relied on to be the guy, to still be a 20, 30 goal scorer. And he's not going to have that pressure in Dallas. The pressure's still on Ben and Sagan to get it done. So throwing him out there on a second and third line, I think he could still dominate, still play some good hockey.
They still have defensive issues, but I think with Bishop, I think they're going to ask a lot of Bishop again this year.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah,
So
I mean-
it'll be interesting to see if he can, because he had a fantastic year last year. Will be interesting to see if he can come close to that this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Personally, I like their defense.
Yeah, it's
Really?
it's okay. I mean, really looking at the additions and subtractions, the only defenseman that they added was Andre Sakara, and I don't really think that's
Their
a
defen-
huge upgrade.
Their defense was terrible last year.
Yeah, but it's
They gave
got
up
so
the
much
second
better.
least amount of goals.
Yeah, Miro Heiskanen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of. Who am I thinking of? Chicago.
yeah,
Minnesota,
You have to be.
Chicago? I don't
you
know.
have to be
Probably
thinking of,
Chicago.
you have to be thinking of Chicago.
Yeah.
I was gonna
But
say
no,
they were
Miro
good last
Heiskanen
year.
You're right.
and-
You're right.
And
My bad.
And who's the right-handed shooting guy? I'm totally blanking now.
Heiskanen and
This
son
is
of a
terrible.
bitch.
We're all blanking. Edit this part
On
out.
the Stars.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh hell!
this is awful.
What is
he's
his
fucking
name?
all-star.
I feel so stupid.
Come on, Kurt, help us out here.
Klingberg.
Yes, John Klingberg.
Klingberg. Thank you.
Jesus.
I almost said Asa Lindell, but I'm like, no, that's the
Yeah.
guy
No.
from-
Yeah.
Edit this part out.
Oh, Lindell. Hey, he's fucking dive again. He's diving like Greg Louganis.
No, they're
Yeah, Dallas only gave up 200 goals
Right.
last year. Which
Yeah,
was
you're right.
second least.
You're right.
yeah.
They're
pretty much the
good.
opposite
I mean,
of-
that's the thing.
Pretty
yeah,
much the opposite
no,
of what I
that,
said.
that when I saw that stat late in the season, I thought, man, you think of Dallas, and I guess it's still kind of ingrained in your head that Ben and Sagan and they got that great offense, and their defense needed work, and but man, their defense, that was their strength last year. They were good.
The Wild. Bill Guerin is their GM now. They added Zuccarello. 32 years old, signed a 5-year contract. $30 million.
Yeah.
Let's
And-
give
and I
Bill
think
Guerin a
that-
little credit here. That was pre-Bill Guerin.
That's true.
that he
No,
brought in.
yeah, I didn't mean to say.
I think that was the nail in the
Right.
final nail in
Right.
Paul Fenton's coffin.
I didn't mean to say that he signed him. I just had a list of notes here as far as like additions to the to the Wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was what was his name? Foley. What was the previous GM's
Paul
name?
Fenton.
Fenton.
Paul
Yes.
Paul Fenton.
So yeah, he made that deal. So when I saw that, I was like, oof,
Yeah,
yikes.
yeah. And
For
like
those
I
of
said,
you that
I think
that have
was his
access-
final nail in his coffin.
For those of you that have access to The Athletic, there's a great post from Michael Russo about why Paul Fenton was fired. It was released right after he was let go, so probably July-ish.
He was only
I don't know,
a little over a year.
Did you guys read
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Just like
He
the
did some
right.
dumb shit.
And the comments that he would make around people that are just like
it.
it's like if he didn't evolve from that from the kind of comments that he would make about people showing zero leadership basically is the way I read that article. And he's a great lieutenant to a strong GM, but he's a terrible GM himself.
Yeah, he was like the most sought after GM when he was hired too. That was the talk that like, oh, Paul Fenton's available. Let's go get Paul Fenton. And yeah, 1 year on the job, and it was okay. See ya. You're probably never going to work in the NHL again. But no, the Wild. I'm not impressed by the Wild at all. I think they've aged out. they've got those bad contracts in Studer and Parisi, and they got some decent talent. I think Ryan Donato could have a breakout year. Zuccarello, in the short term, I think this year and next year, he's still going to be a solid player. They can still rattle some cages, and they may even still be able to break into a wild card spot. But I don't think they're going to be much of a threat at all in the rest of the Central Division.
I think. I was looking at Dubnik's numbers for their goaltending, and he's kind of come down to earth a little bit. Last year he had a .913 save percentage and a .254 GAA. Kind of middle of the road, maybe a little below maybe a little below what they want, I guess, in a goaltender. .913.
Right. He had when they were hot and they were a perennial playoff team.
He was on his game.
He was top 5 goalie in the league, and he's definitely regressed back to the mean.
The Nashville Predators, Emily Kaplan of ESPN picked them to win the cup. So there's that.
It's not a bad pick.
I mean,
honestly.
they lost Subban, Wayne Simmons, and Brian Boyle from which they acquired late last year. But
right, Simmons and Boyle were brought in for the playoff.
Right.
Simmons was brought in specifically to fix their power play, and it got worse after he got there. Nothing against Wayne Simmons. It just
he's
it
not.
wasn't
No, he's
great.
just not the guy that
Right.
we all thought he was 5 years ago, and he's still an NHL player, but he's not who he was.
And Matt Duchene.
Matt Duchene is a hell of a pickup, though.
Hey, Matt Duchene is
They've been going after him for years.
but he is there now.
Yeah. And apparently his family for years has been saying they want to move to Nashville. So I'm sure that
It's a fun
he's
town.
very happy to be there. He'll be motivated. The thing that I loved, and this was kind of a conversation with the other Central Division teams over the summer series I did. You look at, all the keys to the Blues winning the Cup. I think one of the big ones was center depth. You had O'Reilly, Shen, Bozak. Wow. I almost said Bozak from Calgary back in the day. Tyler Bozak.
Oh.
And
Not Steve.
Ivan Barbashev. Steve Bozak. Yeah, involved in the whole trade, wasn't he?
Yes.
But yeah, Bozak and Barbashev running out your 3 and 4 lines.
The Killer Bees.
And then what's that?
The Killer Bees.
The Killer
Bozak
Bees,
and Barbashev. Yeah.
Yep. And I think that made a lot of the Central teams say, okay, we've got to improve our center depth, and the ones that really tacked on was Dallas and Nashville. Obviously Nashville I think has always been in on Duchene, but you add in who they got and who they have at center. They're good. They're so good down the middle that it's scary. I mean, they've got the guy from Pittsburgh on their 4th line at center.
Bonino.
Drawing a blank. Bonino. Nick Bonino is your 4th line center on that team. That's pretty fucking
impressive.
good. Yeah. So that team is scary. I don't know if I really put them in the Stanley Cup conversation at this point. I feel like the loss of Subban may hurt a little bit. I mean, they still have a solid defense and they still have good goaltending, but I think this is the year you start seeing UC Saros take over. And the question is, can he handle a long Stanley Cup run?
Yeah, I will say that I was gonna talk to their goaltending, and I think Pecorine, 2 years ago, God, that guy was he was unbeatable. Going into 2 years ago, he was he was the reason I think a lot of times Nashville was as successful as they were. I think they won a lot in spite of him last year. And I think he's definitely in a regression part of his career. So yeah, I think if Saros can step up and take some more games from him and win them, that's got to be key to Nashville. Otherwise, I'm not saying Bennington has the track record, but right now, given the and this is a complete recency bias statement, I like how we match up against them in the regular season and in any playoff series.
You know, Rene's numbers might surprise you over the past 4 years.
Oh, he's still good.
No. What I'm saying, I mean, you would his numbers don't reflect what you think of him though. So okay, 15-16 season, he had a 9.08 save percentage and a 2.48 GAA. Next season, 16-17, 9.18, 2.42. You know, okay. 17-18, 9.27, 2.31. It was really good. Last year, 9.18, 2.42. So really, I mean, he's only been over 9.2 once in the past 4 seasons. And the 5 seasons ago, he was 9.23. Before that, 9.02. So, I mean, he's a great goaltender. But maybe I think his numbers against us might be better than his overall numbers are because he seemed to stone us quite a bit, actually.
Yeah,
Before last season.
he's always been a blues. He's been a blues killer.
Right. So
almost
I think
his entire
my
career.
impression of Rune was always probably a little better than what his numbers are showing. Not that they're terrible, but they're not elite
I'll add
numbers.
we kind of glanced over Chicago. I'll add that I don't think they're going to be challenging for the division, but I do think they'll be a team to watch. I think
Yeah.
Robin Lehner was a hell of a pickup for them. I don't think Lehner's going to reproduce what he did last year, but still a good goalie.
What's the word on
tandem that
Crawford?
they'll have?
Is Crawford healthy?
I
You guys
think
know?
he's I think he's healthy, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that you could rely on to
Right.
go down the stretch.
Well, I get that
definitely
part.
they're definitely in 1A 1B territory. I
Yeah.
think Lehner is a huge improvement over Cam Ward.
Should be. They paid a lot for him.
And I think their defensive moves, bringing in guys that didn't do as great as they could have in other organizations, and bringing in Oli Mata and Calvin DeHaan, I think those are going to help shore up that D. I mean, they've been running out so many young kids on D. Forsling's gone. Henry Jokiharju, he's gone, and they're replacing him with some veteran presence. I think they'll be better, but they're still so top heavy with those 4 contracts at the top of the books that it's going to be tough for them to stay competitive the entire season.
The Jets, Bufflin is an interesting story.
Man, the
Jets
God, their defense is
And it's interesting because they went from
like
almost a perennial juggernaut to
all their D left.
a terrible defense. Yeah, no, they lost like 2/3 of the defense.
No, they lost 3/4 of it. 'Cause Tyler Myers, Jacob Trouba, Ben Sherratt, I'm missing one, and
Myers, Trouba,
Bufflin may be retiring.
Joe Morrow.
They lost
gone,
Tanev,
but-
Hendricks,
yeah.
Lindholm, Morrow, and Hayes.
Yeah,
I think honestly, everyone knows that they're going to feel Myers and Trouba. The one that I don't think anybody realizes is they're really going to feel the Chariot. Or how do you say his name? Chariot.
Sherratt, yeah,
Sherratt.
who signed in
they're
Montreal.
really going to feel that
and-
one.
Yeah, and I think
He's a great
Montreal's going to
defensive
feel
defenseman.
it. Yeah, I don't know about that.
You don't like him?
He
Not a-
played
not a Chariot?
No, I thought he played very well against the Blues, but that was about it.
So
We'll see.
The Jets are, but Bufflin just adds to the whole soap opera story that is the Jets since the end of last season. So that's I don't know where to pick them. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to do.
Can I tell you what I think in terms of maybe like a graphic if you're watching? Here's what I think of the Jets.
Wow, you didn't even need
Don't think they're
to,
going to have a good year.
It's a good thing we didn't do the show on 9/11.
Right.
I didn't crack. Okay, you know what? Let's just go right over that. We don't need to talk about that.
Edit that part out.
Yeah,
Because that would have been
edit that
bad.
out, Curt.
That'd have been wrong.
Yep. No, I'm not. I'm not sold on the Jets this year. I think, man, I was really high on Connor Hellebuck when he came into the league, and I still think he can be a solid goalie. But that year where he was a Vezina candidate, I don't know if we're going to see that this year. and especially with the losses on
Yeah,
defense.
yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
You're asking a lot
Yeah.
for that.
And say he puts together a great regular season, he's not been good in the playoffs. Like, yeah, I mean,
No.
he hasn't been able to, like, he stood on his head in that Blue series, but he got outplayed, and that's kind of been the book on him in the playoffs is he can get outplayed.
Who wins the division? I mean, we do this every year, and you almost have to do it. But I hate doing predictions right now. I hate it.
Yeah,
They're almost pointless. But
Yeah, I think the Preds. It's going to be the Preds and the Blues fighting for the top spot. Dallas can push. Colorado. I mean, maybe they put something together for a run. I think those are the teams that make the playoffs. But top of the division, I think Preds and Blues.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I could see it going Blues or Preds either way. I'm just going to go with Blues because I think they've proven they can do it. But again, the last time I picked the Blues,
right, I
they
know
missed the playoffs.
They missed the playoffs. Son of a bitch.
So I
and then
know.
last year you chose to miss the
no,
playoffs and won the cup.
Yep. No, I'm going to go Blues winning it. Predators in second. Probably even Stars up there. It's going to be a fun run to watch, and I still think this is going to be one hell of a division in hockey, probably the best again. But I do think that we're going to see a step back from the Jets. We'll see a push from the Blackhawks. Again, maybe they're a playoff team, maybe the Wild, possibly. But I think it's mostly going to be a 4-team race. It's going to be the Avalanche, Blues, Predators, and Stars. They're going to be the talks of the Central Division this year.
I don't even care if the Blues win the division.
don't
I mean,
Just get in.
Get
Yeah.
in and
Right.
get a nice seed and just go with it. I mean,
Right. Don't let the wheels come off the bus and have to fight your way in for a wild card spot.
I'm not. I'll say I'll say the Blues win the division only because they won the cup last year and they got better, and that's my lot. Other teams improved themselves, they got better as well, but yeah, we won the cup, so I'm just gonna default to the Blues winning the division, and we got better.
I think that's kind of the default pick that a lot of people are making.
Yeah, it's not a homer pick. I mean, I have my reasons, but it's and like I said, I don't really care if they win the division. Just don't miss the playoffs or finish 7th or 8th would not be very cool. But get a decent seed and go from there.
Yeah, I think they can go far in the playoffs, no matter who they play. But again, I think we're going to see 5 teams from the Central go into the postseason. I think I've heard a couple podcasts where it was, the Coyotes are going to make a push, the Oilers maybe. I just can't get on board with that. Bill, it looks like you have something to say.
Yeah, I was just going to show. Look, the players. It's root beers.
It's what?
Jim Root for the Maple Leafs, steady next
Oh.
Eddie Beers.
Okay, so the game on TV, yeah.
Sorry.
Root beers,
Caught my
yeah.
eye. Had to point it out. None of that stinking
but yeah,
root beers.
I think that I've heard some podcasts say that, you're going to see a team, maybe even 2 teams come out of the Pacific, but I'm still not a believer in that division. I think that they're still at least a year away from having 4 playoff teams come out of there. I think you're going to see 5 out of here, and I think you're going to see Chicago back in the playoffs. Will they make noise in the playoffs? I don't know, but I do think they'll be back in. I think you're going to see 5 teams from the Central.
Yeah, I mean, God, the Pacific seems like it got worse. I think Vegas is your number 1 team coming out of the Pacific this year, but San Jose losing Pavelski and just everything else, Donskoy even. God, they don't feel that great. I mean, yeah, they have Carlson and they have a pretty talented back end, but shit, I mean, they're gonna try to rely on Evander Kane, who's already in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And then Anaheim, I mean, they're they pressed the reset button. I don't, they're not going to be great. LA, there's not a whole lot to be excited about there. Calgary and Edmonton, trading, swapping problems. I think that's how the either ESPN or the Athletic put it. It was Lucic for
Neil.
James Neal, and then the goalies switched free agent wise.
Cam Talbot
Cam
and,
Talbot and Mike Smith. I don't.
Mike Smith,
It doesn't seem like anybody really improved. I mean, I love that team in Calgary, but God, they got
still
destroyed in the first round.
I'm still not sold on Calgary. I mean, I think they're a good team and they've got some great young players, but I'm still not sold on them making any noise in the playoffs. And I think last playoff was a wake-up call for them that they got to bring it together. And I don't know if they'll be able to. I mean, they took first in the division last year. I don't see them doing that again.
Yeah,
I think the goaltending is going to hold them back.
Yeah, like I said, I think Vegas is going to be the top team in the Pacific this year.
Yep.
And I think
San
out
Jose
of
is
all
still
the
up there.
Yeah, but I think out of all the teams, like with so I probably take if the four teams that I think have the best chance of making it, I think you throw Phoenix into the mix this year.
Yeah, you do.
Just because they've added a little bit, and other teams just haven't gotten a whole lot better.
No, I agree. Clayton Keller, baby.
Clayton Keller, Swansea, Illinois native.
Man, what a contract!
Oh my gosh. I'm related to him. Just found out.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, maybe not.
By marriage,
It's very distant, but I'm a distant. Yeah, it's like, second cousin to my uncle's father or whatever. I don't know who the hell that is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't everyone in Illinois related?
No, coming from a person from Missouri, that's an interesting statement. We're a blue state over here, so we don't put up with that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he's like my aunt's second cousin, or
father's
something.
best friend's cousin's brother's former roommate.
I didn't know that. No, I was told that because the family was talking about, hey, did you see the contract? I'm like, yeah, you related to him? I was like, what? No. So there's that.
Very cool.
I'm older than him, so I guess that's where he got his
hockey talent.
Right?
Huh? No. Must have been a family reunion.
Sure, yeah, it runs in the family, right?
Well, I think we should probably count up how many shootout goals he has in his career that are fake slap shots.
That's right.
And I bet they don't match yours.
And has he ever missed
One.
a shootout goal?
One.
I bet you he has. Who hasn't? This guy.
100%. Curt
Yeah.
Price right there.
Like 5 for 5 or something like that. I got nothing, guys. That's it. What do you think?
I think that's it. I think that's good.
You know what? I'm going to add, we usually do our blue social media fails right here. We don't have one in particular, but I want to remind everyone, why do we hate Blackhawks fans? Why do we hate Bruins fans? Why do we hate Yankees fans? Those people that come out on social media and talk about championships and winning and how many cups do you have? How long did Blues fans hear that? All I want to say, it's fine to gloat a little bit. I'm okay with it. I've done it a little bit myself, but dial it back a little bit. I've seen a lot of people on social media who have been throwing up the you guys haven't won the cup, you're terrible, you're never going to win a cup. How many cups does Nashville have? Let's not go ahead and go there, everybody. Let's just dial it back a little. It's fine to gloat a little bit. Hey, we're the defending champs. Ha ha. But let's not start calling every other fan base out a little bit. Let's dial that back.
Don't you think Blues? I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm not condoning this mindset, but don't you think Blues fans have earned the right to do that to some degree for taking it?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think
all
it is
those
more
years?
than okay.
Yeah.
Especially to like Blackhawks fans,
So you
and
can't-
Stars fans, anyone who's given the Blues trouble about Stanley Cups. Yeah,
but
100%. Do it to them all day long.
here's how the conversation goes, though. If a Blues fan says, "Oh, we're defending Stanley Cup champions," and then a Blackhawks fan is going to say, "Yeah, well, we've had 3 cups in the past 9 years, whatever it is." So it's like, yeah, you got us. And what are you going to do? So it's a dangerous game to play with the whole Stanley Cup card thing. So there are teams out there that have more cups than the Blues. A lot of them have more cups than the Blues. So they do have that card to play.
Yeah, but I mean, it's easy to say that, but at the same time, it's, hey, Blackhawks fans, where did your team finish last year? It's all about what have you done for me lately?
Well, I made a GIF and I actually put it out, I think, yesterday, in a conversation we had with some Chicago fans giving Blues fans shit for whatever. And I had made it before, and I brought it out again, and it was after we won the cup. It was a playoff of anyway. It's a TV show, but it's a guy in an elevator. The elevator was closing, and he says, "What? Defending Stanley Cup champions going to hold the door for a team that missed the playoffs?" And it's closing, and the guy has a balloon on his face, and the guy trying to
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Has the Blackhawk logo on his face, and I thought it was funny, but so same kind of thing.
No,
there.
and again,
but-
I think it's fine to a certain extent, but there are certain people who have really gone overboard with it, and I think we just need to remember to be a little humble and say, hey, you know what? We are the city of champions, yes, because the Cardinals are, they're 11-time winners, so I'm cool with us going a little bit with it, but let's not become Blackhawks fans. Let's not start reminding everyone of the cup win every single conversation.
Well, here's the difference between Blues fans and Blackhawks fans, though. As far as Blackhawks fans they didn't until they started winning. They had a hard time turning fans out. They were giving away $1 million to if somebody scored a goal, if you're in attendance, if someone scored a goal right at the 10-minute mark of the second period, stuff like that to try and get people in the building. So, until they started winning, they were having trouble filling the building. So, their fans aren't that fantastic. Any fan base can show up when you win. It's the fans that stick with the team when they're not winning.
I do love seeing the Blackhawks fans giving Blues fans trouble. I saw somebody post, I think it was earlier today, that said something like, Blues fans couldn't even get fans in the building before this season. I'm like, really? Because they seem to sell out a lot.
See
Right.
people will spew that shit online, and it's just not true. And it's just
Cherry pick the 06 season.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
team when they're the last in the league. Sure, that's bullshit. That bullshit. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care what fan base you have. If your team is shitty, like when the Rams were here, I had a conversation with a guy from LA today. If your team is shitty for 10 years, you're gonna have trouble getting fans to come in the building. You're gonna be half full, 2/3 full tops. And it's not why would I pay a lot of money to go watch a team play that sucks and the ownership is terrible at their job and getting a winning team on the ice? That's every city. Every city does that. They have trouble turning fans out. So I don't know. To say that a team is I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way.
It's a little different situation with the Rams because they were trying to get out of town, so it's hard to support that crap.
They weren't trying to get out of town the first part of when they sucked. The last 3 or 4 years, after Kroenke took over, that was his goal. But when he got the majority interest, that's when he started the let's get out of town nonsense. So, anyway.
We got
On
some
that
good
note.
comments here from Josh Webster. We can end on these because I'm okay with it. What the hell? When did Jeff Ponder get some flow? The Blues must have won the cup or something. That's true. I decided to grow the hair out, so yes, thank you for the comment. I figure I can still grow it, so I might as well, right? Right, Bill?
Hey,
Correct.
I could
Growing out hair?
Yeah, I could still do it, but
That's what I'm saying. You've
I have a
got great
right.
hair, sir.
Well, thank you. I have a respectable desk job, or else I would attempt to grow the flow.
See, I've got a desk job, but it's not respectable.
Yeah. He also said Josh Webster. He also said at the
I was
All-Star
going to
game.
say I work from home, so that's why I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want with my hair.
Josh Webster said at the All-Star game during the Green Day performance will be a great time to use the restroom. And
Day.
Mr.
I
Bluesat
just-
says, any of you headed to the game tomorrow? I am not. I thought about going down for some of the pregame stuff,
Yeah.
but
no,
no, I couldn't make it.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately.
all my hockey money got spent back in June. So, no,
That was that was
If
a
you-
tough realization. Probably midsummer, after I went and got all this shit framed behind me, I thought, now I got no money to go to the home opener. So that was kind of the decision I made.
And when friends I know are selling tickets for two last 10 rows of the building tickets for a total of $600 for tomorrow night. No, I'm not shelling that out to be there. So
Well,
tomorrow night's definitely a game where it pays to be a season ticket holder.
mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I would have. I would love to have gone. It's going to be a monumental night. Mr. Blues, I know you'll be there. Have a lot of fun for us. But watching it on TV, saving a little money, I'm okay with that tomorrow night.
Yep.
That's going to do it for this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Let's Go Blues tomorrow evening against the Capitals who are in town. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Curt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.